Hello there, beautiful souls, beautiful humans. How are you doing with this first little video in 2023? If you are feeling anxious, stressed, fearful, low for no apparent reason, this is definitely a video for you to check out. So give yourself a moment to get tuned in. If you're new to me, I am Rosanna Rosie Glow Hannis. I work with awakening starseeds who very often don't know their starseeds or soul empaths to activate their starseed consciousness, clear their early life conditioning, reprogram it so they can actually fulfill their soul purpose by living their dream life and activating their superpowers. This is all part of this journey. And if you like the sound of that, please do hit the notifications tab. Do also click in that you want to see all videos, and then you will know every time I'm live. We are going through massive changes at the moment, beautiful souls. And the time that I'm making this is actually just before the full moon in Cancer. And that's why I wanted to make this video today, because very often we get really disturbed when we feel like there's no reason, when we feel low, when we feel anxious, when we feel stressed or fearful. We don't know why, so we feel like there's something wrong or we've done something wrong. And that's exactly what I wanted to unpack today, because actually we're not just here on our own in an isolated reality and it's all just us. We are interacting with the world around us all of the time. And one thing that many of us are aware of is how the full moon impacts us. But there is so much more. So if you've stumbled on this video by accident, if you've never actually come across me before, please just keep an open mind, especially if you're like, what is this starseed business? What is this soul empath business? What is this being sensitive business? So many of my clients don't even realize they're starseeds or soul empaths until they've actually started to do this deeper work with me. Another thing that happens, which is what I want to address, is that clients of mine will typically feel like there's something wrong if they're not feeling fabulous and wonderful all of the time, because there is huge expectation in the world for us to just live that Instagram lifestyle, right? To live that, it's all great, Pollyanna life. And that's not the way life is. There are ebbs and flows to everything. We expand and we contract. This is the way nature works. There is a reason, a season, a lifetime, as you know. So I would like you just to open your heart to this idea that when you are feeling in a way that you don't want to feel and you're trying to work out why, give yourself a moment just to step back, step up, allow yourself to see this from a different perspective, because ultimately, here's what it comes down to. We have night and day. And I don't know if you've ever woken up in the middle of the night and had all these fears and anxieties sort of playing supreme on your mind. And then when you wake up in the morning, things don't feel so bad, right? When the light returns, we feel so much better. Well, it's the same with seasons. Okay, we go through different seasons. And when we're in the bleak midwinter, when we've just spent all of our money over the festive period, when we're not sure, when it's going to seem like there's light and there's joy and there's another big thing to celebrate, then it's very often to just go down into the depths of despair. And the point with this is trying to feel phenomenal at a time when actually your body is in a contracted and your energy is in a contracted space isn't really going to happen. But if you allow yourself to feel how you feel in this moment, it will allow you to move into the next moment. So if we look at the fact that we've got night and day, we've got the seasons, depending on where you live in the world, right? We also have planetary shift that affects us. We have the cycles of the moon that affect us. And our energy is very different with a new moon to when there's a full moon. So an expanding moon, a waxing moon, to when the moon has peaked in its fullness and it's then starting to get smaller according to what we can actually see, because obviously it isn't. And that leads us into a place where we're withdrawing again until we get to the no moon, and then we seed the new moon again. Now, you don't need to believe in astrology, numerology, crystals, or anything like that to accept that actually there are phases to a day, phases to a cycles, phases to a year, and we have our own biorhythms as well. Women have a menstrual cycle, and we're very, very different when we're menstruating and we need time to rest and we need time to recalibrate versus when we've actually gone through that process and we're moving from having bled to ovulation. And then we've got all this energy and we're feeling sassy and all big and wonderful and bright and wonderful. And then again, we go through that peak just like the moon, and we start to move back into the phase of going inward. So if you can accept that you have your own natural rhythms, you have your own natural cycles, that's one thing that will really help you. So when you actually go, why do I feel like this? There must be something wrong. Let's ask that question again. Is there really something wrong? Or is my body, my soul, my being saying to me, I just need to rest for a little bit right now? I know every time I've tried to push through when I actually feel low, and believe me, I used to do it all the time, what would happen is I might get the job done, but I would get so stressed in the process. It'd take me 20 takes of a video before I got a good one. And I'd be effing and blinding and throwing my toys out the pram, all just to get this thing out that never really had the impact that I wanted it to have because my energy wasn't there. And the time that I'm making this video today, I've been feeling a little bit lower. And this is the next point that I wanted to make is yesterday, we had the Full Moon World Service, Light Language Transmission, and Personal Healing that I hosted over in the Star Peace Facebook group. Now, if you are new to Star Peace and Star Peace Utopia, don't worry, because I'm going to be talking about it a lot this year. This channel is shifting energies, and we'll be explaining more about it as we go. But that Facebook group is full of activation tools. It's full of activation masterclasses and trainings. And also I offer the World Service, Light Language Transmission, and the Personal Healing in there. So I've put the link in the text box. You can join it. It's free. It's a private community for those of us who are ready to embrace change. And I'll talk about more about that in a moment. So essentially, we had a really beautiful, expansive connection yesterday. And then today it's like, ooh, there's that lower energy that's come back down again, because what we did was we expanded our energy. And this is typical for any of you. Every time you go through an expansion, if you go on retreat, you go into plant medicine, you have a healing, you have a big event occur that you've been building up to, you know that you're going to need some time to basically harmonize afterwards. Okay. And it can feel like your energy really dips. But actually, in order to harmonize at a higher altitude, you are going to need to allow yourself to bring up to the surface that which isn't in resonance with this new frequency that you've connected to. So using the example of yesterday's full moon co-creation, we expanded, we did some big clearing. And then today is a time just to allow ourselves to go through that process, drink lots of water, rest, be mindful of what is coming up without attaching a story to it. We often feel there's something wrong because we're feeling low, or we've got fears coming to the surface, or there are anxieties that are playing out. But let's just look at this slightly differently. Soul empaths, star seeds, we're highly sensitive souls. Now, everyone can switch this on when they are ready, but for the most part, those of us who come here and have this sense of connection on this level already recognize ourselves to being sensitive to the pain of others, the unprocessed emotions of others, the thoughts that aren't spoken about, the words that aren't said in the collective. And if you've ever looked at heart math, you'll know that there are more receptor cells in the heart than in the brain. So the heart knows before the brain does what's really going on. You can kind of wake up one morning and you're like, something feels off. I don't know what it is. But then later on, you find out some big event has occurred, or something has occurred in family with a family member or a friend that you care about. And you're tuned in. I often wake up with a happy birthday song in my head and then realize one of my friends have their birthdays, or a family member does. So working with this sensitivity is really, really important.